We are sorry. I'm not sure if what we just experienced was the discrepancy between the politics and power, or just losing politics and power by us. It means our impact on what we decided to do and what we could achieve. Certainly, we planned to have only half hour of break, and well, we had to, we were not able to come back to our lecture before the whole 1 hour of break, but I hope we will.
In the end, it is a question of which is very doubtful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me continue. I have a cold throat already because I had to speak over there as well. Anyway, the question which I would like to ask now is whatever happened to Panopticon. I already told you that Panopticon is still very much alive, but relegated to the margin of society. I would like to, using a metaphor, one would say that Panopticon moved from inside of the city to the defensive walls of the city. It prevents people relegated to outside of the class system, which self-reproduces itself in society, to keeping them away from the city walls, prevent them from penetrating, from returning from there. The illustration of this game of Panopticon, insufficiency of Panopticon to deal with internal troubles of the city, was, for example, the London riots, which you heard about last year, when the people relegated to the underclass, to the very poor district of London, were confronted day by day with the temples of consumption, supermarkets, shopping malls, built inside their own territory, inside their own community, and they were infuriated by the daily repeated sight of some lucky consumers entering, attracted, tempted, seduced by the interior of the shopping malls, entering the building and emerging from the building with the bags full of goodies, but they, those underclassers, were deprived of the right of entry because they would be stopped by the guards or by the plainclothes policemen inside the supermarket as hopeless consumers, hopeless. They clearly did not keep credit cards in their wallets, the hope that they would buy anything and add to the profits, of course, was minimal. For a moment, the panoptical instruments were introduced into their midst. As far, however, as we ordinary people are concerned, people who are assumed to be amenable to the impact of commercialization, marketing, temptation, seduction, and so on, we are likely to be attracted by very, very promising offers which are on sale. Now, what about surveillance related to us? And here are two people who answer this question. One is Thomas Matthiessen. Thomas Matthiessen coined the concept of synopticon, not panopticon, but synopticon. again, to put it in the nutshell, to strip it to the bare bones, panopticon means few people watching the many. Synopticon is the reversal. Synopticon means many people watching the few. And that's what we are all doing. We have the cult of celebrities. We have people who set the tune, who set the fashion. They appear over and over again whenever you open the internet. The first information which comes to you is what has happened yesterday to the few celebrity personalities, who is preparing divorce, who is flirting with whom, and who has done new fashionable accessories to the dress, or whatever. We are watching them, and they are people to be emulated, to be imitated. Why they should be imitated? What celebrities are? What celebrities are? Very witty American journalist Burstein made a joke, but partly only joke, because it's a very well-targeted statement. He said that celebrities are people who are known for being known. The only reason. When people photograph me here, I'm quite sure that they photographed me here simply because they heard that I was photographed by other people, so therefore they have to catch up. But what is the reason of being photographed? Whether I did anything, whether I'm famous for being a scientist or a footballer or a mass murderer, they don't care very much. You know, that's not important. The important thing is to be a celebrity is the condition, is to be known. Why? Well, there were many half-joking answers to this question, which I, however, treat seriously as containing a powerful grain of truth. People who say, I wonder whether you remember the great philosopher Descartes. Descartes said once, cogito ergo sum, which means I think, therefore I am. My thinking is the proof of my real existence. According to him, all these joking answers are that if Descartes was alive still today, he would rephrase his cogito. He would say, I am seen, therefore I am. That is the today's tendency. If you are seen, if you appear on the first pages of newspapers or covers of glossy magazines, you are seen by many. You are seen by many. So you are worth watching. You are worth watching for this very reason. There must be something in being seen for so many people. And there are, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the poor person replacement substitutes for the rich people or important people means of becoming known. That's what we are all doing, and that's what we are all offered by the invention of the internet. We are joining the Facebook, we are presenting our profile, making it known in the way unavailable. Still 20 years ago you couldn't do it. You couldn't do your program of the day and your thoughts or your absence of thoughts known to the unknown public, to the hundreds of millions of people who are at every moment when we are sitting here attached to their screens and watching what other people are doing. That is the poor, I would say, the high street, the ordinary, the vulgarized equivalent of the important people boutiques. What you find in the serial poor shops, available to everybody, but which creates for everybody of us the chance of joining the ranks of being known. For the time being, we are watching those who already achieved fame, notoriety rather than fame, by creating your own blogs. Do you have blogs? Well, if you don't, I think at some point you start having them. As far as the presenting your detailed biography, virtually stripping yourself naked in public, now that is something which our children start at a very early age. That is the transformation of Descartes' cogito. From I am thinking, I think, therefore I am, to I am seen, therefore I am. That's roughly the question of synopticon. You don't have to hire special supervisors in order to watch the masses, because masses on their own initiative watch the few trendsetters out there. That's the answer given by Thomas Matthiessen. I find in it quite a lot of truth, quite a shrewd observation of the changing mode of surveillance. And the other answer, which is complementary to the first, is Didier Bigot. Didier Bigot, also written out there, Didier Bigot. Didier Bigot coined the term banopticon, B instead of P at the beginning. Not panopticon, but banopticon. Ban suggests the prohibition, right? Ban. Exclusion, kicking out, prohibition, being forbidden of entry, this sort of thing. And banopticon is there to protect the city walls. The interesting point, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you analyze the technology of banopticon, that was the most advanced and most prolific technological frontier line in recent years. The recent developments in surveillance are almost all in the area of panopticon. There are plenty of them. You don't know even that you are objected to panopticon whenever you join to popular websites like Amazon or Google or Facebook or YouTube and other so-called social or semi-social websites. You are all registered. All your purchase is registered. All your place where you find yourself at the moment is registered. The whole secret services of all totalitarian countries were not able to collect so much information about the population as the websites are able to. The databases of contemporary websites are quite enormous, unimaginable. I just wonder what would happen if they were available during the times of Stalin or Hitler. Whatever they did in their secret services seems a cottage industry, very primitive, by comparison with how easily hundreds of millions and billions of bits of information are collected on our own initiative. Panopticon is a kind of surveillance voluntary, done by the object of the surveillance. We are on our own initiative. There was in times of early modernity, the French philosopher Etienne Laboétie, he coined the notion of a voluntary servitude. Servitude which is not imposed from above, but servitude which is entered enthusiastically by its object from below, from the grassroots. Already then he spotted such a tendency, but now it is very widely developed. Now, what are the purposes of panopticon? Well, you are using panopticon means sometimes if you move to the gated community, for example, and you install closed-circuit television at the entry, so you keep the undesirable people outside. Loiterers, intruders, people who shouldn't be there, who disturb your tranquility, who make you angry or frightened, you just keep them outside. The television cameras inform you of their approaching, so you can always phone the security guards and ask them to remove them. It is very widely applied, this panopticon, by banks who select the non-promising clients from the promising clients. Who is worthy of credit, who is worthy of loan, and who is not worthy of loan. It is not the question of keeping people in, like in solid modernity, like in case of panopticon. Panopticon was there to make sure that once stuck to the working bench, you remain there, you don't go outside, you don't run away. Panopticon is the other way around, to stop you at the other side of the door, to bar the entry. And control of the credit worthiness is one of the most prominent examples of these new tactics. It's no longer the question of keeping people in, it is the question of keeping people out, of keeping people who are deserving only to be excluded and to be prevented entry. Well, the latest invention, you probably experienced it unknowingly already, trying to phone the company who sold you the wrong kind of goods or complaining on any other subject. So you know how it acts. First of all, there is a sweet synthetic voice who tells you if you want so-and-so, press 1. If you need so-and-so, press 2, press 3, press 4. You press your number. Then there is another voice who instructs you further. If you want discuss that matter, press 1, that matter, press 2, and so on, so on. Behind that, there is an algorithm which select without conscious participation of any operator by itself, according to certain signs, certain programs, those who are worthy of attention of the institution and those who are simply wasters of time. And in case you belong to promising clients, you are very quickly connected to a senior operator who is entitled to make decisions on the spot. But you are a hopeless complainer who won't bring any further profit. You are kept online with the music in the background, and every 5 minutes you hear a signal, you hear a voice telling, "I'm terribly sorry, all operators are busy, by the next free operator will be connected, and if you have nerves of steel, then you will survive till he actually enters the line." But it would be very inferior operator who has no right whatsoever to take any decision, and will send you to another operator and another telephone number, another connection. That's one example. Another example I take from Amazon. I admit that because I am very old, I lost strength to look for books I need in bookshops, and I buy them through Amazon. And because I buy them through Amazon already 2 years, then whenever I enter Amazon from my computer, there is big advertisement. "Hello, Zygmunt, there are the books especially for you selected." And mind you, they are right. They really know what books I am interested in, and I very often, very often, I actually take their offer up, because they are books which lie within the realm of my interest. That's terribly important development in the history of consumerism. More and more often, commercials are not simply thrown as a seal bottle into the unknown sea. They are directed personally to Zygmunt Bauman, or to you as well, to Aleksandra, Kania, and to any one of you. And so they have an added attraction. Voluntarity on your side to buy their product is enhanced by the fact that the offer was not just thrown to everybody who wants it, but directed especially to you. It's a personal care. It is your will speaking, as if. So that's how Panopticon acts. It eliminates hopeless people, not promising anything, and selects the chosen few who actually promise success. These are forms of new forms of surveillance, of which one should add one more characteristic, very interesting characteristic. We are paying the cost ourselves of being surveyed. The cost of organizing this surveillance has been shifted from people who profit on it to people who are their object. By joining for our own entertainment the so-called social website, we are just doing the job free from salary. We are not getting any money out of it. We are just doing it free of charge. It doesn't mean, on the contrary, it doesn't mean that the importance of surveillance as the means of domination has diminished. It only means that it changes form. It works differently. Well, I haven't finished yet the whole problem of the new form of domination. I hope I will be able to finish it at the start of tomorrow's meeting. But now I believe that quite a number of questions and unclarities have asked in your minds. So I would like rather you to ask the questions and I will try to answer them.
Okay, please, who would like to ask a question? And there is a need for a microphone.
Wait for translator, I don't know.
Yeah. And,
deregulation.
Well, is there? Okay. You are.
To działa? Co działa? To?
Aquí. Please.
Aha. 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 Yeah. Aha. I see. So there will be consecutive translation, right?
No.
Aha. Aha. So you try both. Okay, fine. Yeah. All right.
Sí, quería. Sí, quería hacer dos preguntas. Respecto de la modernidad líquida, del estado de modernidad líquida, es evidente que se genera un estado de incertidumbre bastante grande. En América Latina, de donde yo vengo, existe un refrán que dice: a río revuelto, ganancia de pescadores. Acá también. Sí. La pregunta es si uno podría considerar que este estado de incertidumbre es también una estrategia de poder. Y la segunda pregunta, durante los últimos años, 2 años, hemos visto muchas movilizaciones sociales que se manifiestan principalmente a partir de la ocupación de las calles. Pero como usted comenta, el poder no está en las calles, sino que está en los medios, muchas veces donde no los podemos ver. Y llama la atención, en ese sentido, la reacción rápida y bastante atemorizante que se ha realizado, por ejemplo, contra Wikileaks, que justamente busca develar la posición del poder, de cómo se maneja el poder a través del uso de los medios. Entonces, la segunda pregunta es, ¿cómo evalúa usted la experiencia desarrollada por Wikileaks como forma de controlar, de cierta manera, los procesos, o sea, la relación entre poder y política?
Yeah. Right. A very big, very huge gratitude to you. I did understand everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, dear sir, the second question belongs clearly, as you can find in the program of our meetings, to tomorrow. That's exactly what we are going to discuss tomorrow. And if you can survive till tomorrow, please do. I will put it aside. The first question, however, I would like to answer. You ask very, very well targeted, you raise very well targeted problem. You ask whether the uncertainty becomes itself a tool of domination. Yes, the answer is yes, and I will try to explain a little bit how come it happens so. There was another man whose name I have written. Michel Crozier. Michel Crozier, the French sociologist, published in 1963 a book called The Bureaucratic Phenomenon. The Bureaucratic Phenomenon was a book inspired by Max Weber. Max Weber, the name you, I'm sure, know very well, one of the founders of sociology, who, among other things, left us, as his inheritance, the so-called ideal type of bureaucracy. Max Weber considered bureaucracy as the embodiment, the fullest expression of rational action. And he enumerated the features which a bureaucratic organization should have in order to behave rationally. Rationality, according to Max Weber, meant roughly selecting the right means to the given ends. I have to do that and that, so I am selecting the most efficient, the cheapest, the most available means to achieve this purpose. And rationality was assured by the way bureaucracy ought to be organized. Not always was empirically, but in theory, in ideal types, it should be. One of the most important aspects which were necessary in order to assure the rational behavior of bureaucracy was to put aside, live in a cloakroom when you enter the organization building, enter your office, live there outside the building, outside consideration, all personal idiosyncrasies of your own. Your political commitment, your sympathies, your antipathies, your religious beliefs, whatever is irrelevant to the business done by the bureaucratic organization. Only things which are relevant, which are connected to the success in achieving bureaucratic ends should be taken into account. Some sort of a panopticon avant la lettre. Before it was invented, was there already practice in bureaucratic organization. Michel Crozier, as the faithful disciple of Max Weber, wanted simply to do empirical research in several selected bureaucracies, as normally sociological research is done. He wanted to confirm empirically that his theoretical master, Max Weber, was right, and how actually in practice this bureaucracy operates. Because he was Frenchman, he selected French bureaucracies. Two of them were private, one of them was state-owned. Much to his amazement, he found out that contrary to what Max Weber suggested, people employed in bureaucracy spent most of their time doing things which were completely irrelevant to the explicit purpose of bureaucracy. They were relevant, but to their private policies. They wanted to get an upper edge on the other members of the bureaucratic organizations. They wanted to achieve more influence on the running of affairs, more power at the expense of other members of the organization. Michel Crozier concluded, not exactly rightly, that it is because of specificity of French culture. He thought that what he found was the French peculiarity of bureaucracy. This departure from purely rational purposes to which bureaucracy and its running should be submitted. And therefore, he suggested that one should not speak about bureaucratic culture, but about bureaucratic cultures, because different nations have different bureaucratic culture. I don't know whether that's to what extent it is true, to what extent it is not. It is very fashionable today to add plural to what previously people were expressing in singular only. We speak about religion in plural, we speak about truth in plural, we speak about modernity in plural, we speak about multi-modernities, and so on and so on. So why not multi-bureaucracies or multi-bureaucratic cultures? But I think that the most important thing which Michel Crozier discovered was not articulated by him. Because what he's discovered, it was not only that the members of the bureaucracy, at the expense of rationality, were engaged in civil war for influence and power. What he discovered, in addition, is what means they used to fight for more power, fight for more domination. And the means they used was the distinction between us, our own category, our own group, our own outfit, and the rest of the organization. The strategy of power struggle was consisting in the following: how to tie the other people's hands while leaving our own hands untied. As simple as that. To create meticulous regulation for other people's action so that their choice is virtually non-existent, and therefore their behavior is absolutely predictable, because they will be following the rules. And leave ourselves as much as possible free from rules, so that we are for them unpredictable. They cannot anticipate our reaction, and therefore their choice is limited simply because they fear the worst from us. They don't know what our response will be. The diversification, or rather division, of subjection to the rules. As many rules as possible for the other side, as few of them as possible for our side. Well, the strategy repeated over and over and over again all around the place. The ruling elites are always fighting for deregulation of the labor market, so they can respond to resistance with firing people, making them redundant at will. There is nothing to protect them. On the other hand, to free their own activity, free also from any constraints. So they are the other side is tied mostly by the feeling of uncertainty. That's my answer. You can quite easily imagine why it happens, really. When you are considering situation in which you are, and you are looking through possible responses, your responses to this situation, you are trying to find out there, you are creating a sort of equation, just the kind of equation which we have learned in school at the algebra lessons. The equation consists with constant quantities and unknown quantities, variables, constants and variables, known and unknown. The unknown quantities make solution of equation easier. The number of the unknown quantities, the variables, on the contrary, make solution very difficult and sometimes downright responsible. You can't simply find a rational exit from the trouble in which you have found yourself. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, we hear less and less about workers going on strike. In times when Ford was dependent for his wealth on his workers, in the same way as workers were dependent on Ford for their living, people went on strike. People fought for better deal, for better settlement, for the better contract, and so on. Now fewer and fewer go because of the easiness with which the bosses may simply escape the contract, just unilaterally cancelling. Their reaction, given the width of their options, is the big unknown in your equation, the source of your uncertainty. And then you bear with all sorts of difficulties, all sorts of unpleasantnesses which otherwise you would not, simply because you cannot reach the rational solution to your problems. Domination today is based, the strategy of domination is based on placing yourself in the center of uncertainty, making yourself an uncertain element in the situation of other people. And that is roughly the major change since the time of panopticon. You don't have to impose your naked coercion on the people to keep them in place. It is enough that you are so elusive, so evasive, so unknown, so unstable element in their situation. They can't penetrate, they can't guess, they can't predict what sort of reaction will be, and calculating for a better wage, they may gain, in spite of their expectation, lack of job, unemployment, and redundancy.
Me gustaría preguntar respecto de una duda que me surge a partir de una investigación que estoy realizando sobre la percepción de las personas respecto a su calidad de vida en poblaciones desiguales. Al ir al... El estudio que estoy haciendo es respecto a la percepción que las personas tienen de su calidad de vida en 3 poblaciones desiguales.
Types of what? I see. Right. Okay.
Al realizar el trabajo de terreno, las poblaciones con mayor porcentaje de pobreza presentan mayor empoderamiento de sus capacidades, participan más, se sienten protagonistas del rumbo de su vida, teniendo peores condiciones de vida. Y al momento de evaluar su calidad de vida, esta evaluación no presenta diferencias de satisfacción con el sector más favorecido. Una de las explicaciones puede ser la resignación, la adaptación de las personas a su condición. Pero me gustaría creer que hay algo más que lo podría explicar.
Yes. Sorry, speak to the microphone, please. Yes? Yes, now, yes, yes. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Can you tell what other two types were? Because you just mentioned about this, the poorest.
Un sector de alto nivel socioeconómico, mediano y bajo.
Yes, and
Social capital.
yes. And how it was related to this feeling of satisfaction and control over life? Yes.
Las personas más pobres.
Well, yes. That I understood. Yes. What about the other two types, the middle class and higher?
La clase privilegiada, un alto nivel de satisfacción. La población mediana, menor. Y la más pobre, muy similar a la de más alto nivel. No había muchas diferencias.
So that's I understand the relationship was like this life satisfaction was like this. It was with the lowest class, higher satisfaction, with the middle class, the lower. Okay. Is it right that? Well, do I understand well your sorry, Miss. So your finding was that the people with lowest and highest level of earning or wealth had the similar level of life satisfaction, and those in the middle have the lowest. Okay, so and well, and was your explanation of this similarly contradictory result that it's that this finding was also appeared in other situations when the level of life satisfaction is not uniformly dependent on the level of wealth. Although it was the dependence between the average wealth of the country depended on the average life satisfaction was higher in the wealthier countries. It wasn't necessarily the same with the lowest level of wealth, of GNP or so-called well, other indicators of the wealth of the country. Well, the explanation was said that one of the reasons for greater life satisfaction was also the trust in people, not only the economic wealth, but also the so-called social capital. The social ties, social bonds contributed to people feeling of happiness, of life satisfaction, ability to get things done, some higher level of control over their life, because they could count on the on other people. And it was unlike the trust in institutions, which were not so much related to the satisfaction with life, but trust in other people. What Robert Putnam was calling the social capital was an important determinant of this life satisfaction. I don't know whether you think that it also helps to explain your data or otherwise.
Just a simple addition to that. I'm not astonished by your results, really, because there are two essential values. Professor Kania confirmed it on the basis of her research. Security and freedom. Both values are essential for a happy life. You can't have happiness without either of them. You need some security, you can't be kept surprised all the time, and you need freedom of choice, otherwise you will be unhappy. They are both necessary, but they are very difficult to reconcile. And if you take your tripartite division, upper class, middle class, and lower class, there is a surprising similarity between situation of the upper class and the lower class. Namely, that both are relatively secure. Relatively secure. If you are lucky enough to be born in an upper class, you are secure because your state of possession is so large that short of a major catastrophe, or you're getting drunkard, or being a gambler and losing your fortune in Monte Carlo, you can be pretty sure you don't need to do anything to secure your security. You need not do anything to secure your security, while lower class cannot do anything to emerge out of its predicament. Therefore, it's also secure in a way. It knows that I don't need to do anything. I am not exposing myself to risk because there is no way leading out of favela, for example, or other ghetto to the normal world. And only middle class is unhappy. Because you have been born, if you are a middle class, into a relatively well-off family, but you have to repeat the achievement. you need to support, to reproduce your well-being. It is not given forever to you. You don't have any security there. Everything is open to the unknown future. So when it comes to the investigation of values,
I would like to add something.
Fine.
Well, the research was based on so-called European and world values study that was conducted in in Europe. There were 4 waves of this study, and the first one was in 1990, then in 1999, and in 2008. And the world value studies were repeated every 5 years, so in some over 80 countries in the world. But there was one exception to this regularity. It means in the countries where there was a transformation rather late and quite rapid, it means in Russian Federation and in some so-called Baltic republics, former Soviet republics that became independent. And in these countries, the highest, the wealthiest groups were very uncertain and had a feeling of not well legitimized their wealth, so they were less trustful in other people and more afraid, less secure, and not so much satisfied with their life. So it's sometimes there are factors that made these predictions not so certain. I think that's once again there is a question, late question.
Look, we would like, it's our very brief encounter. 3 days is not time long enough for ideas to mature and take shape and be shared and so on. But do make an effort, please. Not only the questions which come to your mind already, but think through the night and the afternoon and night, and perhaps new questions, new problems will emerge, and please give them to us tomorrow morning when we meet. Right?
Because unfortunately there is also a press conference in the afternoon, so we really cannot stay much longer now.
Okay, thank you.